Hey there. So welcome. We're here on. I'm just going to put our the. Here we go. This is the Zoom link. Okay. Hopefully this works. Here we go, you guys. So we're back today, reading the Bhagavad Gita, and this book here, and we've been reading the Bhagavad Gita for I don't know, a week or more, and different people have said they're coming, and we'll see. I'm a little late starting today, and so we just want to find this. There we go. Reading the Bhagavad. There we go. Okay. Yes. There we go. We started this a while ago. The first day. This is the book. It's written by Stephen Mitchell, and Stephen Mitchell has. The more I look into who he is, the more amazing he's. As a man that he's done so much in this area of. And let me see. I just have to flick this. There we go. There. To see the book. So this is the book, the Bhagavad Gita, and Stephen Mitchell wrote it in the 90s, I think. And it's an interpretation. He didn't write it. It's a Hindu story. It's a Hindu teaching, and yet it's not a teaching in the sense of suggesting that we believe anything. It's a very practical teaching that suggests that we follow a certain awakening path, if you will. And the story has Krishna, Lord Krishna, the Hindu god, speaking to Arjuna, who is a warrior. He's a warrior. He was an amazing fellow. So that's the deal. And if you're watching, if you've come onto Facebook in any way, I think you can see the Zoom link. I'll read it to you if you'd like. It's 823-8182-2352 is the link to Zoom. I'd love it if you want to drop in. I know I'm a little late today, but here we are. So like I said, we started with the introduction in this amazing book. And it tells about how Stephen Mitchell, kind of decided to do this and the path that he followed, because the original is written in Sanskrit, of course, and so yes. And then we read a number of chapters. The first chapter was Arjuna's despair, so it sets the tone for the story. The first chapter. The second chapter is the practice of yoga. So this is really in his description, everything is yoga, and because everything is yoga, and then we go to from the practice of yoga to chapter 3, the yoga of action. And then chapter 4, was the chapter 4, the yoga of wisdom. So these are very short, but they're beautiful. They're just so, if you're interested in awakening and in consciousness, and these are beautifully well done. The yoga of renunciation, which I've always had trouble with that word, but renunciation is to surrender all things, really. And these are all different paths to awakening. Today, we're on chapter 6, the yoga of meditation. And so I'm going to read this to you. And yeah, that's the deal. Can you see that? There we go. The yoga of meditation, page 88 in the Bhagavad Gita. Hi there, Janine. Hopefully you've got the copy of this book. If not, you can go back over the previous chapters, find it on my YouTube if you like. And I've got them there, and I've shortened them a little bit. Some of them I've started to shorten them and cut them up a little bit on YouTube. Hi, guys. So we're just starting the chapter 6 today, the yoga of meditation in the Bhagavad Gita. The Blessed Lord said, that would be Krishna, he who performs his duty with no concern of results is the true man of yoga, not he who refrains from action. Know that right action itself is renunciation. Arjuna. In the yoga of action, you first renounce your own selfish will. For the man who wishes to mature, the yoga of action is the path. For the man already mature, serenity is the path. When a man has become unattached to sense objects or to actions, renounced his own selfish will, then he is mature in yoga. He should lift up the self by the self. He should lift up the self by the self and not seek into the selfish. For the self is the only friend of the self and its only foe. So you notice that he's talking about two different selves. The one's the small s, one's the large s. The small s self is the persona, the self we think we know, and the large s self, of course, is who we truly are in our own divinity. When a man has mastered himself, he is perfectly at ease in cold or heat, in pleasure or pain, in honor or in disgrace. The mature man, fulfilled in wisdom, resolute, looks with equal detachment at a lump of dirt, a rock, or a piece of pure gold. He looks impartially on all, those who love him or hate him, his kinsmen, his enemies, his friends, the good and also the wicked. The man of yoga should practice concentration. The man of yoga should practice concentration alone, mastering mind and body, free of possessions and desires. Sitting down, having chose a spot that is neither too high nor too low, that is clean and covered with a grass mat or a deer skin and a cloth. He should concentrate with his whole mind on a single object. If he practices in this way, his mind will soon become pure. With torso and head held high, with posture steady and unmoving, gazing at the top of his nose, not letting his eyes look elsewhere. He should sit there calm, fearless, firm in his vow to be chaste. His whole mind controlled, directed, focused, absorbed in me. That's the Lord Krishna speaking, absorbed in me. Constantly mastering his mind, the man of yoga grows peaceful, attains supreme liberation, and vanishes into my bliss. He who eats too much food or too little, who is always drowsy or restless, will never succeed in the yoga of meditation. For the man who is moderate in food and pleasure, moderate in action, moderate in sleep and waking, yoga destroys all sorrow. With a mind grown dear and peaceful, freed from selfish desire, absorbed in the self alone, he is called a true man of yoga. So those of you who just joined us, we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita. Stephen Mitchell's version. I suggest you get a copy. It's beautiful. Wow. Well, here we are. Still, my phone rang. And I'm just trying to close it. Oh, I know I can't close it. I don't have a touch screen. So crazy. There we go. Okay. There we go. Oh. For a mind clear and peaceful, free from selfish desire, absorbed in self alone, he is called a true man of yoga. There we go. True man of yoga. A lamp sheltered from the wind, which does not flicker. To this is compared the true man of yoga, whose mind has vanished in the self. When his mind has become serene by the practice of meditation, he sees the self through the self and rests in the self, rejoicing. He knows the infinite joy that is reached by the understanding beyond the senses, steadfast. He does not fall back from the truth. Attaining this state, he knows that there is no higher attainment. He is rooted there, unshaken, even by the deepest sorrow. This is true yoga, the unbinding of the bonds of sorrow. Practice this yoga with determination and with a courageous heart. Just to those of you who are joining us, we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita. And we're in chapter 6. Yeah, the Yoga of Meditation. Page 93. Ebb and dawning, all desires. Born of his own selfish will, a man should learn to restrain. A man should learn to restrain his unruly senses with his mind. Gradually becomes calm and controls his understanding, focused on the self. He should think nothing at all. However, often the restless mind may break loose and wander. You should rein it in and constantly bring it back to the self. When his mind becomes clear and peaceful, he enters absolute joy. His passions are calmed forever. He is utterly absorbed in God. Mastering mind and body, purified from all sin, he easily gains true freedom and finds an infinite joy. Mature in yoga, impartial everywhere that he looks, he sees himself in all beings, and all beings in himself. The man who sees me in everything, and everything within me, will not be lost to me, nor will I ever be lost to him. He who is rooted in oneness realizes that I am in every being. Wherever he goes, he remains in me. When he sees all beings as equal in suffering or in joy, because they are like himself, that man has grown perfect in yoga. Arjuna said, "You have taught that the essence of yoga is equanimity, Krishna, but since the mind is so restless, how can that be achieved?" The mind is restless, unsteady, turbulent, wild, stubborn, truly. Seems to me as hard as a master, as hard to master as the wind. The blessed Lord said, "Ah, you are right, Arjuna. The mind is restless and hard to master. But by constant practice and detachment, it can be mastered in the end." Yoga is indeed hard for those who lack self-restraint. But if you keep striving earnestly in the right way, you can reach it. Hey, you guys, welcome. Just reading the Bhagavad Gita, the chapter 6, the yoga of meditation. It's beautiful. It really is. Arjuna said, "Krishna, what happens to the man who, with faith but no self-control, wanders from the path of yoga before he becomes mature? Hasn't he lost both the here and the hereafter? Doesn't he rootless and in substantial fade like a cloud in the sky? Rootless and insubstantial, fade like a cloud in the sky. This is the doubt that troubles me, Krishna. I beg you, please, help me, for only you can remove the doubt from my mind." The blessed Lord said, "Neither here nor hereafter, Arjuna, is that man lost, nor no one who does good work will come to an evil end." No one who does good work will come to an evil end. Reaching the heaven of the righteous after uncountable years, that man will be born again to parents who are upright and wealthy. He may even be born to parents who have practiced yoga and are wise. Though a birth as fortunate as this is more difficult to obtain. There, he regains the knowledge acquired in his former life. And from that point on, Arjuna, he strives towards the ultimate goal. Unconsciously, he returns to his former practice. Even a man who asks about yoga goes beyond formal religion. Striving with constant effort, cleaning himself of all sin through many lifetimes, at last, he attains the ultimate goal. The man of yoga is greater. Page, no. The man of yoga is greater than ascetics, or the learned, or those who performs the rituals. Therefore, be a man of yoga, my son. Practice yoga sincerely, with single-minded devotion. Love me with perfect faith. Bring your whole self to me. Chapter 6. So next, sometime tomorrow, we'll read chapter 7, Wisdom and Realization. It's beautiful. Wisdom and realization. There's just a lot of great, how do I describe it? Pretty grateful for this book. I've read it lots before, but never publicly. And and I've listened to it many times in Audible. I suggest that that's a possibility, is um, um, to get it on Audible and just let it play in the background. I've done it lots, and just let it play in the background. And it's a very high vibration. Dr. David Hawkins, if you're familiar with Hawkins' work, had measured the vibration of many things on the planet using a scale that he developed in kinesiology, muscle testing, and he developed a scale. And at 1,000 was Christ consciousness, and then, in the lower realms below 200 were guilt and shame and fear and all the things that cloud us, anyway, he said that this book, the Bhagavad Gita, vibrated at over 900. Pretty cool. So that's pretty high. That's amazing. Unconditional love vibrates at 540. So, over 900 is, almost hard to see. So we see the words, but maybe don't get the whole thing. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much. The Bhagavad Gita. See you tomorrow.